Now let's switch back to Dreamweaver. Again, I'm just Alt-tabbing over. And we're done with our little HTML page. We're done with this text page. But let's spend a little time studying this page, because this page has a number of things going on. It has HTML, it has CSS, and a number of styles that are affecting how this H1 tag and this H2 tag format the text. And it also has some JavaScript. Let me show you real quick what that JavaScript does. So if I preview in the browser and I roll my cursor over that, I just have a very simple image rollover on this page. Now that's a very easy thing to create in Dreamweaver, and I include a lesson on that at the very end of this series. But I want you to see now the code that goes into making that work is not so simple. So if we use Split View to take a look at what's happening behind the scenes, let me click on this image right away so you can see. I've got an ahref, which we'll look at some more in a moment, means there's a link in here. And then I have on mouse out, on mouse over, swap image. Anytime you see code that looks like that, this kind of stuff right here, you're looking at JavaScript. This here is just a regular image tag. Now if we scroll up here to the very top of the page, I want you to see that there's a little more going on here than just that simple HTML tag we typed in our own file. That's again because HTML has evolved so much over the years. So this is just giving a lot more information to a web browser about what version of HTML is being used here and what kind of document this is. So here in the middle you see XHTML 1.0 transitional. That's actually telling you what kind of code is used on this page. The head tag is where you really want to start paying attention. As I mentioned, a number of things get stored in the head area of the page, such as metadata. In fact, if you want to include meta name, meta description, and meta keywords, those are also useful pieces of text to add into your page, very useful for search engines, and this is where those are stored in your web document. Here's the title tag, and you can see it matches up here what's in this title field. Dreamweaver displays it in this title field, but in the code, it's in the head area of the page between the title tags. Now, anytime you see this, style type equals, you know you're looking at CSS. This style tag is really the clue you should look for when you're looking for your cascading style sheets. Now, in this case, I have an internal style sheet, which is why the actual styles appear here in the top of the document. So I have a body style, I have a container style, and remember, that pound sign tells me this is an ID style. This shows me these are tag styles for the H1 and the H2 tags. And you can tell right away, the first thing that appears is the name of the style. This is a tag style versus the ID styles we were just looking at. And then you see the style rule and all of the information that goes with that. This style, you should know by now, starts with a dot, must be a class style. So that's my float left, and I have a nice corresponding float right. That's what's making this image appear on the right side of this page. So you see here, float right. And that means that somewhere corresponding with this image, there must be, here it is, a class style equals float right. So that tells me the class is float right. Now this also has an ID style, fishy, and the image source tells me the image name itself. So if I'm trying to figure out what's the name of this image or where is this in the code, you can see that's the image name itself. And then what have we typed in every time we insert an image in Dreamweaver? That's right, alt text or alternative text. So fish jump into computer, you can see down here in the alt text field, this is the alternative text behind the image. And all of that is included inside that image source tag. Now there are just two other things I want to point out on this page. If I click here on formatting, you can see this is formatted with the strong tag. Remember, strong makes things bold, at least in most browser displays. And down here at the bottom you see format text also stands out on the page, but this is actually formatted with the class style highlight using the span tag. So you can start to get used to noticing if something's just a plain old HTML tag like strong. And remember, not only will that show up in split view here, but you always have this tag selector down here at the bottom where you can remove and edit tags. So if I right click and choose remove tag, that strong will disappear. Similarly, I can right-click on Span Highlight, I can change the class, or I can use this little gadget, the Quick Tag Editor. This can be really handy for pulling up something to quickly select and edit options. So just choose the Quick Tag Editor. There we go. The first time that didn't open properly. Sometimes you have to click on things twice. When you right-click or command-click on the Quick Tag Editor, you should not only get the styling options of the class style, but actually get a window where you can edit the tag itself. And if I make changes in this window, they will have the same impact as if I make them up here in Code View. You're literally editing the code in that window. So it's just a shortcut that gives you another place to edit things. While we're looking at shortcuts, I'll put my cursor in here and wait for a moment, and sure enough, that little magical wheel shows up. If you've noticed this before and wondered what it was, this is new in Dreamweaver CS4. It's called the Code Navigator. And when I click on it, you'll see that I get quite a bit of handy information about what I'm looking at and how it appears on this page. So my format text is formatted with the class style highlight. And not only can I see that, I can actually see the style definition for highlight when I run my cursor over it. I can also tell that it's inside a div tag styled with the ID container, and I can see the definition for that. And if I decide that I want to edit one of those things in the code, all I have to do is click on it here, and Dreamweaver takes me right to it in the corresponding code. And even if this CSS style were in an external style sheet, Dreamweaver would open that style sheet and bring me to it there.